your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
Welcome to another exciting edition of Talking Real Money, the podcast videocast combination. Hi, everybody. I'm Don McDonald, right here in Florida. There in the aircraft hangar in Washington, it's Tom's own version of the Air and Space Museum in his house, is Tom Cook.
And as we like to say here, Don, when it comes to investing, let the bombing begin. We'll see.
Bombing.
Or maybe it's the podcast, Let the Bombing Begin.
It is actually the podcast.
Let the bombing. Yeah. You understand. You get the meaning there.
You know what? We moved into Tom's little house because the office, believe it or not, the office internet is worse than his home internet.
Okay, wait a minute. First of all, it's not little and it's not mine. So neither of those are correct either way. So,
all right. So welcome to the show. Today, we want to talk about something that it's a sneaky threat to your money. It's one of those things that we kind of take for granted and really don't understand all that well, because when we go to the store and spend $1, it's always $1. It's $1. I got $1. I go to the store. I get $1 worth of stuff.
All right, I'm going to stop you there. What can you buy for $1 anymore? Really? Oh, I guess you can go. Don't they have $1 days at McDonald's?
Stores.
Okay, dollar stores. All right. Been to one in a while.
I got an order of fries at McDonald's today for $1.
Okay, fair enough.
$1.
One fry or $1?
My unsweet large iced tea, $1.
So that's only $2 so far for lunch, and then you threw in the $9 Big Mac, or how did that all work out?
Right. It was the $43 quarter pounder with gold.
There you go. Yeah. Chew slowly is how it's taken.
But we want to talk a little bit about inflation because it sneaks up on you, and I don't think, and there is some evidence to back this up, that we really understand it very much. And then how do you fight it? So we want to quickly talk about those things on this edition of the podcast videocast. What do you have? What's that?
Sorry?
What is that? Your notes? You have notes?
This is the article you gave me. I printed it out. I'm reading it. I thought it would be important to the show.
You didn't read it before the show?
I did read it before the show. And as you can see, for those of you on the videocast, I highlighted it.
Wow. This is a Wall Street Journal article.
Yeah.
Do you want me to just talk about it since you're not ready?
No, it's a pretty good one. I'm definitely ready. I thought about it. I wrote a few notes. I am ready. Here's the thing I found interesting.
We can't see your face.
Sorry. Well, maybe that's for the better. Maybe ratings will go.
Dude, it's a video cast.
Maybe we'll go past 200 people now or something. My face isn't so prevalent.
Oh,
at any rate, I found it interesting in a couple ways. First of all, they bring up the rule of 72. Now, the rule of 72.
I love the rule of 72.
Well, but it's generally applied to how fast your money is multiplying, not how much inflation's eating into your money. It's kind of a turn on this rule.
It's just the inverse.
Yeah. So, but generally, when you hear rule of 72, it's about, well, if I'm making 6% a year, it doubles in blank. Is it 12 years? Anyway, the point is, please fix that.
That's
right. I had it right.
If you make 10% per year, it doubles in 7.2 years.
Okay, so I was right.
If you make 7% per year, it doubles in 10 years.
I was right again. Okay, but here's the second part I found interesting. They divide it instead by inflation, but the inflation rate they use is 3.6%. Now, that is substantially higher than historical rates, which apparently it was in August. More than 0.5% a year. That's quite a bit over a period of time.
It depends on the historical period about which you're referring.
1934 to last year runs.
Okay, so we have a deflationary period.
A little under 3. Well, you got to look at a long period of time. Okay, so that's a little high. That's number one. That's one issue I have, because then it's saying your costs double in 20 years, which is, I usually use 25 when I talk to people about,
which is what 3 is. 3 is about 20.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So, but then they get into some odd things here, Don, frankly, that I struggle with. Home ownership, right? But whether you'd have a fixed income rate or an adjustable. Well, nobody knows that, because nobody knows what's going to happen to rates.
But it's the Wall Street Journal.
Okay. So they're always right. Then there's
they're always trying to come up with a system.
Then one I did actually like was the insurance, because people do have a tendency to have home insurance from the time they buy the home. They renew it every year and they never look at it again in terms of the replacement value. They point out that if you don't change anything in New York, the home insurance you bought in 2000 will only cover 63% of your current home value. That's
Then
a
I'll
bit
just
troubling.
build 60% of the house.
Okay,
Actually, my wife and I thought about that when we were looking at it. We were looking at our insurance, and I thought, you know what? We wouldn't, if we rebuilt, we wouldn't rebuild a house this big. We'd rebuild a smaller house, so it's okay.
I don't know that Mickey Mouse will let you make it any smaller, but good luck with that. Then we get into the more important parts, I frankly think. Investing. Now, here's one that people have a tendency to do a number of things with their money, which are really bad ideas. Number one, as we've talked about on this program ad nauseum, there's about $18 trillion right now sitting around in banks, cash. That's losing money safely is how I'd put it. I mean, at 3.6% annualized inflation, you are losing big and you're losing fast. That's one. Number two, baby boomers now are, and I think I read this recently, that the largest birth year in the history of the United States was 1957. Did I have that right?
I believe that is correct.
Yeah,
that is
I hadn't read that.
Peak of the baby boom, right about when we were born.
It's pretty darn close. So that means all of you are getting close to retirement or already retired, and you're thinking, I need some stability in my portfolio. I don't want risk, Tom and Don. I already took risk when I was younger. Well, if you put it all in bonds, or most of it in bonds, you're in trouble. I mean, and especially if your longevity at 60 is going to be 30 years, which there's a good likelihood of that.
That also applies to immediate annuities, unless they have an inflation rider, and the inflation rider usually reduces what you get today. Your payments will be less valuable in the future.
Exactly. So, and then they also talk about saving for retirement, and they talk about the fact that you need to consider inflation when it comes to retirement income. I do see this mistake often. People believe I'm retiring next year and I need $80,000 a year to live on, but what they don't do is they don't add in 3% a year of inflation for the next 30 years they're expected to live, right? They just don't make it. And so inflation should be part of every financial plan. And again, I would run it at 3%. They said 3.5%. And then the bad news when it comes to all of that is what I just mentioned. Many of you get to retirement. You don't want any risk, but you need most of us need to be exposed to stock markets for a very long period of time. I think I'll be exposed to them my entire life with the idea that hopefully I leave something to the next generation. Who knows? But here's the other part of any spending or any retirement plan, Don, that people have a tendency to forget about as well. And that is the spending side. Now, I'm going to equate it to weight loss. As you know, as Don knows, I work out basically every day. I really don't lose weight.
But he does work out every day.
I do.
I, on the other hand, I maintain my weight and I never work out.
Yeah. And so here's the thing. I do know, and I'm aware of this, that the reality is if I ate more carefully, then guess what? I probably would lose weight. So if you have a spending plan for retirement, rather than just saying, I'm trying to make this much, but I'm only going to have a disciplined amount to spend, most people are going to be, it'll work out for them in a way that many don't consider. We run into people all the time who say, I'm just going to keep doing whatever I'm doing. I needed to buy that. I got this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, that is more of a problem.
That kind of fits in with my strategy, which is instead of worrying about beating inflation, I'm just going to deflate my lifestyle.
You're just going to reduce.
I'm just going to go for the deflationary lifestyle. It's just like, the big house to the little house.
Yeah, I think that's
the
wise.
Airstream to a tent.
No, because I still have the place in the back in the swamp.
As long as I have the lazy boy and a big screen TV.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't have to. You have to run the electricity out to the swamp for that. But at any rate, yeah, I think this is
solar.
It's a problem that has reemerged that had been ignored for many years when we had such very, very, very low inflation by historical measure. So, yeah, I think it's something to consider carefully.
However, remember, we're not making any kind of prediction about inflation because who knew in the 90s and the aughts that inflation would fall as far as it fell from as high as it had been in the 70s and the 80s. We just don't know what the future will bring, but you have to plan for many eventualities, which is why a financial plan of any kind is so important to your future well-being. You can call us anytime at 855-935-TALK. You can also send us questions at talkingrealmoney.com. And I got one of those for you, Tom.
Okay.
This is
Yeah,
a good one.
please.
This is a good one. My wife, who is a teacher, is investing in.
What?
I'm sorry. Just hurts me. VALIC's 457 and 403B.
And I love their pickles, but I don't really like their 401k management.
VALIC pickles.
Oh, okay. Sorry, guys.
VALIC annuities.
Okay.
VALIC is the variable annuity life insurance company, a division of, Tom,
I don't know that.
AIG.
Okay. That's the money-making side of AIG, probably. Yes.
She will retire in 1.5 years.
There's somebody.
Should she
numbers.
continue investing in an attempt to shelter investments from taxes in the VALIC investment vehicles, or cancel and invest in a taxable account? She has invested in a Roth every year too.
So, I mean, this is always one of those, well, we don't know because we need to know more about the picture. On the one hand, yes, the VALIC plan is probably expensive. It's probably not very diversified. And there may be additional administrative charges sometimes that we find out about later that add to the reduction in return.
Because it's an annuity.
Yeah. And so then the question is, okay, so where would you put the money and how would you manage that? In other words, if you just took the same thing and put it in the Vanguard Total World Stock Index, that's probably a pretty good idea. Or some sort of balanced plan that's a much lower cost. Yeah, I'd favor that for sure.
Well, yeah, here's the thing. It depends a lot on your tax bracket, your tax rate, your marginal rate right now. How much of her paycheck is taken out for taxes? If it's a small amount, then the tax deferral is a negligible benefit that is very likely offset by the ridiculous costs that VALIC charges for its products. In which case, I would probably put it into a taxable account somewhere, but make sure it's right for her risk tolerance. However,
yes,
if you said she's contributing to a Roth, but is she maxing her Roth out? That really is the key. My wife is calling right there in the middle of the show.
$7,000 she could pop in there. So
yeah,
you want to do that first.
If you're not putting the full 7 in, then you can
no reason to do anything else. I concur there. Yeah.
Do the full 7 to the Roth. She's
still looking for the fries you didn't eat from McDonald's.
I ate all the fries.
Oh, I don't want to be the guy who has to take that call. Good luck.
So here's the deal. Tom has one other thing he wants to add before we depart from this podcast.
Well, and I only have a couple of minutes.
He's a little upset.
I'm more than a little upset, actually. I'm quite upset.
So we're going to let him vent.
Yeah, I mean, so as we've discussed on this program, my daughter goes to a private school. Nothing against public schools. She goes to a private school. It fits her better. And they have a period of time in January, which is like the midterm, where they teach other courses that you can come in and learn about various topics like cooking. And I think I saw outdoor activities, and then I was scrolling through. And what did I find? The stock market simulation game.
No.
I hate those by things. The way, here's the quote: "No previous financial courses or experience with the stock market necessary. Students will receive surprise, an initial cash infusion of $100,000 with the goal of making as much money as they can with their portfolio during the January term, which is, I believe, a week." Now,
basically, when they get to class, I hope that the teacher says,
them
"Hello, everyone. You are monkeys. You are monkeys, and here are our darts. You're going to throw your darts at the stock market pages."
But let me tell you why I really resent it. I mean, at the end, by the way, they said, learn the research skills needed to increase your chances for success. Number one, the people that spend millions of dollars and have all the best research, how do they do beating the market? They don't. Number two, if this is someone's their initiation to stock market investing, I got to fix them at age 50. I got to tell them all that stuff you learned 100 years. No, that is not relevant. It is not investing. That is
gambling.
Who
is it being taught by a stockbroker?
I don't know. I will find that out.
You need to find out.
You can count me in on that one. I will.
Please. You are going to go talk to the school about
I'm going to call the headmaster about this.
And please, I want an update on this, because this idiot, I can almost guarantee it's a stockbroker.
Okay, and this is for 7th and 8th grade. Don't you think it makes more sense to teach really young people like this? How about just your relationship with money?
Right.
how you should look at money, what's
exactly.
important, like
how
that.
about saving it, the power of saving it, the value of long-term investing, how to pay bills, how to save.
Exactly. Just the absolute basics before you start becoming a hedge fund manager. This is absolutely abhorrent. And yes, I will add that, Don. You can count on it. So
he's outraged, ladies and gentlemen.
It didn't come out that way, but it should have. So sorry.
He is outraged. I'm more outraged than he is, and it's not even my child. I am.
Oh, maybe she should take the course and then to go in and say, hey, what about just putting it all in VT?
And here's the thing: the kid who wins the game,
I know,
is not the best stock picker.
No,
they're just the luckiest one.
Indeed, a week's time. Come on, that's the other thing it adds is
day trading.
You can make money quickly. That is not investing. That is, as you just said, gambling purely.
Hey, if you have a question for us, call us anytime at 855-935-TALK or go to talkingrealmoney.com on the contact form. You can type in your questions or speak them into a microphone just like this. So thanks for being there. Tell a friend, neighbor, relative, worst enemy you have. Maybe they hate money talk and this will be miserable for them. Or whatever. Go and leave a podcast.
Leave a podcast for us. Or leave a podcast
review
then we won't
on Apple Podcasts.
We won't have to do one if you leave a full podcast. We'll simply put that one up there in place. Save us a
Give
day.
us your podcast.
Sure,
give us your
not?
best podcast. All right, Tom. Tom has things to do. We got to go. Thanks for being around here, listening to us, watching us jabber on as we continue talking real money.
We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately and consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestry, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit talkingrealmoney.com for more information and disclosures. Are we done now?